Welcome to our special broadcast, The Great Indian Election. This is India's election news headquarters, and we track all the big developments of the region as India decides in 2024. Well, as the focus shifts to the sixth phase of polls on Saturday, many of you will be visiting polling booths in the national capitals and other parts of the country to cast your vote. Our next report by Rahul Upadhyay tells you how these polling booths are set up and what are the criteria to set up a booth at a particular location.
And many of you must have visited to polling stations to cast your vote at your respective constituencies. But have you ever thought how these polling stations are get set up?
Electioneering in India is a big and mammoth exercise. It involves advanced planning, execution of well-planned strategies to ensure free and fair elections. It begins with announcement of date for election. The process of setting up of polling stations follows certain norms and principles. The district election officer is assigned the responsibility to set up and publish the list of polling stations in their district. There are some principles on the basis of which polling stations are set up. These include ensuring that voters do not have to travel more than 2 kilometers to cast their vote.
What we have done is on P-1 day, हम इनको dispatch कर रहे हैं. We are sending them to their polling locations. We have told them which polling location each party will be going. So they are in the buses. They are taking their polling material along with EVMs. So sector officer will go along with them. They will set up their polling booth. They will stay there.
These principles, however, are not set in stone. Polling stations can even cater to less than 300 voters in case access is a problem. For example, in a rugged terrain. In cases where the number of electors exceeds 1500, auxiliary polling stations are set up, preferably in the same building. Polling station locations are chosen carefully, usually in a government or semi-government institutions. They try to avoid using private buildings unless it's absolutely necessary. Polling stations are equipped with adequate shade structures like tents, canopies or umbrellas, seating, cooling devices like fans, proper ventilation, drinking water and ORS. In addition to this, the ECI has also identified polling stations which are likely to face heat waves based on India Meteorological Department data.
These are some of the arrangements which Election Commission officials make for us. Amid all these efforts, voter participation play a major role to make an election success. And for this, we must have to understand the value of our vote, and we should come out and cast our vote. With camera person Anil Thakur, this is Rahul Upadhyay from New Delhi for DD India.
Well, we are just 2 steps away from this election of 2024, India's parliamentary elections getting over. We've had a look at the eastern part of India in phase 6. Remember, the south, the west, the elections are over and now. There is no state left in either of the regions that we are looking at elections for 2024. So our focus is primarily now going to be the north and the east. We've had a look at east yesterday. Our look today is going to be in the northern part of India in phase 6 of election. So where all in the north are we seeing elections? One seat in Anantnag that shifted from phase 3 to phase 6. So that's one addition. Haryana 10, Delhi 7, neighboring states there, Uttar Pradesh 14, and that's how this particular phase can be summed up. You're looking at close to, interestingly, 32 seats in this range. Firstly, Anantnag, as I mentioned, May 7th voting was scheduled, shifted to the 6th phase. So this particular seat is one that we are looking at. Haryana has 10 seats in Haryana. Remember, Haryana can be split into 3 halves. Haryana, you can look at North Haryana, South, as well as the Jatland. That's Karnal, Rohtak and Sonipat, if you put it there. When you look at the southern part, you've got Bigani, Gurgaon and Faridabad, Ambala, Kurukshetra, Sirsa and Hisar in the northern part of Haryana. Moving to Delhi, all 7 regions in Delhi, it's a combination of 4 for AAP, 3 for Congress, taking on the might of BJP, who's got a double, looking for a hat-trick in Delhi. You've got East, New Delhi, West Delhi, South Delhi with AAP, Northwest, Northeast, Chandni Chowk with Congress, and it's combination that's come together, will that be able to put some speed breakers on that magic run that BJP's had in 2014 and 2019? That's something worth looking out for. And Uttar Pradesh, 14 seats in Uttar Pradesh. If you look at Uttar Pradesh in particular, you can classify Uttar Pradesh into two halves, 6 seats in the Awadh region, 8 seats in the Purvanchal region. Remember, Uttar Pradesh comes to polls or goes to poll in every phase of this election. So we are in that penultimate phase, 6th phase, where we have 14 seats, but 14 interesting seats, especially seats like Phulpur, Pratapgarh, Allahabad, also seats like Azamgarh and Basti that could throw interesting numbers for us in this election along with Sultanpur. Well, now this is how the north looks like. 32 seats in the north. BJP has a lion's share, 26 seats with BJP. The BSP has got 4. The SP has got 1. The Jammu Kashmir National Conference having 1 seat there, and that's how this particular combine gets completed. Well, take a look at how, when you juxtapose it in today's times, the northern belt, 26 seats. If you look at the 2019 numbers, 26 with the NDA, 2 with the opposition bloc. 1 is that seat in Uttar Pradesh, the other is the Anantnag seat, and 4 others, that's the BSP seat that's in the others table. Well, now the eastern part, we had a look at it yesterday, a quick recap of that. In the east, there are 26 seats, 19 with the NDA, the BJP, the primary driver there, and others, you've got 4 seats, that's with the Trinamool Congress, 3 seats from others forming this particular table here in the eastern part of India. So finally, the 58 seats, take a look. It's BJP that's defending more, 45 seats. So it's a big, just like that first phase that we were looking at, this is an important phase for the BJP. They have 45 seats in this particular phase. Others, then, the drivers with 11 seats, the opposition with just 2 seats in this particular phase of election. Looking at phase 6, 89% of the candidates male, 10.6%. A marginal drop in the percentage of females fighting elections in this phase as compared to the 5th phase, but then to encouraging numbers. Illiterate candidates in this election fray, 14, graduates and above 512. The average age of candidates in this phase is between 31 to 50 years. Almost half of the candidates fall in this category, and that's why this category is interesting. Criminal cases, 180 cases, roughly 21% of the candidates have criminal cases. Serious criminal cases, 141. And that's something that we're going to look forward to, especially in Bihar, when we discuss Bihar in particular. Crorepati's, 338. Average asset per candidate is 6 crore 21 lakhs, especially in the northern part of India. And that's why this particular phase is interesting. The rich candidates, Naveen Jindal, 1241 crores from Kurukshetra. You've got the BJD candidate from Cuttack, Santrupt Mishra, and also the AAP candidate, Dr. Sushil Gupta, who's again taking on Naveen Jindal there in Kurukshetra, the third richest candidate in this phase with 169 crore against his name. Star candidates that we are looking at, Radha Mohan Singh there fighting this elections on a very strong footing from Purvi Champaran, Lovely Anand fighting from Shiohar, Awadh Bihari Chaudhary fighting on that RJT ticket from Siwan. You've got Naveen Jindal once again back in the election fray, but changing his colors, this time in BJP, fighting from Kurukshetra. Ashok Tawar, another Congress face, now fighting from BJP from Sirsa. The former Chief Minister of Haryana, Manohar Lal Khattar, fighting from Karnal, a stronghold that the BJP looks to capture. Citadel, the Deepender Singh Hooda, fighting from the Hooda Citadel of Rohtak. Raj Babbar, changing from Uttar Pradesh, coming to Haryana now, taking on Rao Inderjeet Singh, who's looking for another term to Parliament from Gurugram, and Raj Babbar taking him on. Krishanpal Gujar fighting from Faridabad. Abhay Singh Chautala, INLD and JJP both, it's an offshoot of the other, but Abhay Singh Chautala now trying to reclaim that glory fighting from Kurukshetra this particular election. Mehbooba Mufti fighting from Anantnag Rajouri, another interesting candidate, that could, especially looking at how this particular election has moved, could throw some interesting numbers. Manoj Tiwari, Northeast Delhi, Basuri Swaraj, Sushma Swaraj's daughter, making a political debut, fighting from the New Delhi seat. Sambit Patra fighting from Puri in Odisha. Dharmendra Pradhan making his political debut in Lok Sabha elections, fighting this particular elections from Sambalpur. Matab, again a change in colors from the BJD moving to the BJP now, fighting from the seat in Cuttack. Dharmendra Yadav is that battle in Azamgarh that we all are looking at, and another family member from the Samajwadi Party in the election fray for this particular seat. Finally, Menka Gandhi fighting this particular elections from Sultanpur. We got Jagdambika Pal, the chief minister for the shortest period of time, fighting from Dumbriganj. Subhash Sarkar fighting from West Bengal in Bankura. Remember, it's a doctor and there are two lawyers in this seat, in this fight for Bankura that we are looking at. Agnimitra Paul fighting from West Bengal, Mednipur, and she's taking on a Bengali cine star in this fight for, in this fight to win this particular seat for the BJP. So it's an interesting battle that you could see, especially for many seats in this phase of elections. Well, there is a famous saying that the ballot is stronger than the bullet. So one needs to understand the importance of the vote that you cast. Let's quickly understand. We've got my colleague Antara Sinha getting us the story on the importance of the vote and how is your vote safe till the time the EVM boxes are counted and we look at Judgment Day on the 4th of June.
India's 18th general election is in its last leg. Most of the states and union territories are done with their voting and only a few are left. I'm sure most of you must have voted by now. So you know, as you can see here, when you enter the polling booth, you get your name verified in the voters list. Get your finger inked with the indelible ink. You then go out and go to the EVM and press the button and vote. The machine makes a loud beep noise and you're done. But what happens after you vote? And what happens between voting and counting? We are here to find that out.
After a voter casts their vote, the ballot is securely stored until the counting process begins. On the day of counting, scheduled after the polling period, election officials gather at designated counting centers. The officials ensure secure transportation and sealing of the EVMs, as EVMs containing votes are sealed and transported under tight security.
So how are electronic voting machines or EVMs sealed? Well, they are sealed in presence of state and national recognized parties that are present at first level checking. They are sealed by a pink paper seal provided by the Nashik security press. Let's move on to the next point.
Verification and sorting. At the counting centers, the EVM boxes are verified to ensure they haven't been tampered with during transportation. Then the ballots are sorted based on the candidate or party for whom the vote was cast. The actual counting of the votes begins under the supervision of election officials with representatives from various political parties and independent observers present to ensure transparency and fairness. As the votes are counted, the numbers are tallied and recorded. Results are usually announced periodically throughout the counting process. Throughout this process, stringent security measures are in place to safeguard the integrity of ballots and ensure that the counting process remains transparent and free from interference or tampering.
Each and every vote counts. We have seen this in the past as parties and leaders have won and lost their elections by just a single vote. So go out everyone and vote. That is all in this Election Digest episode. I'll see you next week.
Well, without wasting time, touching base with all our correspondents there across the length and breadth of the country, especially in this particular phase of elections. Joining us this evening, Abhishek Bose giving us the latest on the Anantnag seat. Amritpal Singh joining us from Haryana. We've got Deepika Mato joining us from Azamgarh in Uttar Pradesh, Salman Haider joining us from Bihar, Akshay Dongre getting us the latest in the national capital. Let me first come to you, Abhishek, looking at the Anantnag seat. How does one take a look, especially at the change in date from May 7th to May 25th? How have the political parties and the political players managed to navigate this long run or long rope that they have got?
Exactly, Anil. The election was, as you said earlier, scheduled on May 7 in the third phase. Now it rescheduled tomorrow in the sixth phase. Now, the thing is, the election will be held tomorrow under top-notch security, since 19 polling stations are around the border. They are the border polling stations. Now, 20 candidates are in the fray, but the major contest is in between the PDP President Mehbooba Mufti, the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, with Mia Altaf. Mia Altaf is the National Conference candidate. Now, it's interesting to say that Mia Altaf is a very influential tribal leader from the region. And Jammu and Kashmir Apni Party has fielded Zafar Manhas from the seat. Interesting to note that BJP hasn't fielded any candidate from the seat.
Okay,
Anil.
Shifting to Haryana, where we've got Amritpal Singh joining us. Amrit, how does one take a look, especially at the battle in Haryana? Do you get the sense that the BJP social engineering there, challenges especially the Hudas and also the Chautalas there as Haryana gears up to vote?
That's what the BJP is trying to do. In fact, if you see the change of the chief minister just before the elections was an attempt at social engineering. Nab Singh Saini belongs to the OBC with about 40% of the OBC castes. The BJP is trying to secure, and who traditionally have voted with the BJP. You do the OBC plus the Punjabi vote. That has been the winning combination for the BJP for the past more than 9.5 years that they have been in power in the state. So they're trying to retain their grip on those votes. The Jat votes, especially the votes in the rural hinterland, do not seem favorably inclined towards the BJP, because the Congress has been successful in building the perception that the BJP is not pro-farmer. So that in popular sentiment is the sentiment that you find, especially in the agrarian class.
Okay.
The social engineering here and the caste combination plays an important role. Within the OBCs, both the Gujars and the Yadavs who dominate South Haryana seats, Faridabad and Gurgaon, do seem to be, have traditionally voted with the BJP. So not much dent in the BJP's vote bank there. But yes, the Jat vote, it is really an election, if you talk in terms of caste, Jat versus non-Jat contest really that one sees here in Haryana.
Well, shifting to Delhi, where we've got Akshay Dongre joining us. Akshay, looking at the AAP Congress alliance that's come into play, a 4-3 taking on the might of the BJP. Also the Kejriwal arrest saga that followed. How do you see these particular elections? Does it become difficult for the best of the psephologists to get the to press the right button, especially when it comes to which way Delhi is going?
Well, that's quite interesting, Anil, for us to actually speculate that which way the election in Delhi is going to go, because clearly we have seen that in the last two elections, both in 2014 and in 2019 elections, clearly BJP has been sweeping the union territory, and that has not been quite an easy task for the Aam Aadmi Party to grasp. Because at the legislative level, the Aam Aadmi Party has been forming government for 2 terms now. However, when it comes to the national elections, they failed to even get 1 seat. So that has been the challenge for both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. The Congress has literally been wiped off from Delhi's politics, both in terms of national elections and in terms of legislative elections. Even if you go further to civic elections, even there Congress is non-existent right now. It's a clear fight between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. However, these two parties do have their cadre and their vote bank in Delhi and in certain pockets, which if combined can be trouble for the Bharatiya Janata Party. However, if you look at the political history of both of these parties, the AAP and the Congress, they have been at the loggerheads. In fact, it was the Aam Aadmi Party that uprooted the Congress from Delhi's Legislative Assembly. Then it was the Aam Aadmi Party that uprooted Congress government in Punjab as well. So they have been on the ground. The workers have not been happy to work with each other,
Okay.
both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party workers, and it's the same for the voters as well.
Okay.
So what do they look at an alternative? That's BJP. Yeah.
Okay. Shifting to Uttar Pradesh, we've got Deepika joining us. Deepika, Mainpuri, Etawah, Kannauj, and now the focus on Azamgarh. How's that battle, especially between the two parties involved and the two candidates involved, playing out?
When we talk about Uttar Pradesh, Anil, you would know that it is said that the parliament is decided by the 80 seats across Uttar Pradesh. And interestingly, when we talk about the sixth phase of Lok Sabha elections, where 14 seats are there, which would be polling tomorrow, Uttar Pradesh's Azamgarh along with Jaunpur are two important segments. Talking particularly about the fight here, the political scenario here in Azamgarh, it is directly between Samajwadi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party.
True.
So you have the seasoned MP from Samajwadi Party in form of Dharmendra Yadav, and on the other hand you have Niravwa, who is a very famous Bhojpuri singer and actor. His real name is Dinesh Lal Yadav, who's contesting from the side of BJP. Interestingly, a very colourful, a very dynamic and a very entertaining campaigning has been going on till the last minute of the silent period, and now that we have now entered in the silent period, it is on the voters to decide on their issues. And when we talk to the issues generally are on development, shunning the tag of terrorism from Azamgarh, and creating more job opportunities there, Anil. Okay,
finally, Bihar. Bihar, how does one see the battle, Salman, especially for the seats in Bihar? Do you see something, something innovative, since Bihar goes to polls across the 7 phases? Anything interesting that's come up purely in terms of campaign in this particular phase?
Yes, Anil, nothing interesting except that all the parties are trying hard and had tried hard to campaign in these elections. As you know, NDA has the almost all seats in this phase, which is going to 6th phase elections.
Okay.
In 2019, all the seats were with NDA. Now, the India Alliance candidates are trying hard to snatch some seats from. This is a very tough tussle between the two factions. At most of the places, there is two-way contest.
Okay, a two-way contest is what we are looking at, especially in Bihar. Thank you all, Deepika, Amritpal, Abhishek Bose, Akshay Dongre and Salman Haider for joining us this evening. Well, quickly getting our guests on board. Chakshu Roy, PRS Legislative, joining us this evening. We've got Ashok Tandon, senior journalist, joining us to take this deliberation forward. Let me come first to you, Ashok Tandon. How does one see this particular phase of phase 6? You've got Delhi and Haryana that votes and 17 seats there, where it's a clean sweep that the BJP enjoys. But the overall picture of phase 6 and the significance of it.
No, first of all, I would like to make a brief comment about the Jammu Kashmir seat, Anantnag Rajouri. Election in the valley is significant from the international point of view also.
Okay.
And the polling percentage which we have seen increasing in the earlier phases is a very significant thing. Now, in the next, tomorrow, if there is a significant increase in the poll percentage, I think that will mark the success of elections in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay.
Whoever wins is rather immaterial from the point of view of Jammu and Kashmir. And coming to Delhi, I think it's the next significant area is Delhi. Two things have happened in Delhi. Number one, when Aam Aadmi Party wiped out Congress and won assembly elections twice. At the same time, in 2014 and 2019, BJP won all the 7 seats. Now, this is very significant.
True.
That means the electorate of Delhi is so clear about the national and the local issues that when it comes to national issues like security and overall image of India abroad, then they select and they choose BJP and they want a strong central government. They choose a strong leader. When it comes to the assembly elections, they don't want Congress back, so they voted for the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, this time, a new element has been injected, that is alliance between Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. See, Congress used to be a dominant party, but this time they are playing a second fiddle, and in fact, it is the other way around. Aam Aadmi Party has left 3 seats for Congress and keeping 4 with itself. In lieu of that, Aam Aadmi Party has got 1 seat in Haryana, that is Kurukshetra. So whether the transfer of vote from Aam Aadmi Party to Congress or from Congress to Aam Aadmi Party, will it take place? Because in the 2019 election, BJP won more than 50% vote on all the 7 seats. Now, even if the vote is combined, and as compared with 2019, BJP still has an edge in all the 7 seats in there.
BJP having an edge there. Chakshu, a quick thought, especially when it comes to Bihar. You know, I was reading an article of the 2019 elections, you know, as I headed into the show, and it spoke about Bihar, money, muscle power packing a punch in phase 6. The same phase 6 we are looking at this time around. Things don't change 5 years later.
I don't think in a country with a short democratic history, 75 years of democratic history, things take time to change. I think Bihar has come a long way and still has a long way to go. Let's not forget, till about 20 years ago, booth capturing was an element that used to happen. That has stopped after the onset of EVMs. And that brings me to a historical nugget, because on the show, you're always looking for things which are interesting. And I know we have very little time, but Delhi is a historical election because EVMs, one of the pilot of EVMs in council elections happened in Delhi.
Okay, I've got 2 more correspondents waiting. I need to go quickly to them. Dimendu joining us from West Bengal, Vishal Barristo joining us from Midnapur. I'll request both of you to keep your answers short. I've got 3 minutes on the clock to wind this show up. Dimendu, coming first to you. West Bengal, the seats that go to polls. Anything interesting that we can look forward to, especially in the battles, the war and the battles that flow between them?
Well, Anil, of course, you know, this particular phase is seeing elections in the bastion of the Adhikari family, which is the Tomluk, Kathi, Ghatal, all these Purbo Mednipur as well as the Paschim Midnapur, where my colleague Vishal is also there. So these are the bastions of the Adhikari family. So this makes this particular phase very interesting, because Shubhendu have shifted from the BJP, from the Trinamool Congress to the BJP lately, and it will be interesting to see whether the BJP is able to gain some number of seats from here, given the fact that that Shubhendu Adhikari have been flexing his muscles and have promised to the BJP that a significant number of seats from these particular 2 districts will come into the kitty of the BJP, and the candidates here are also pretty strong. So, of course, since you have told me to keep my answer short, so of course we'll see how this election turns out to be. Back to you, Anil.
Okay, shifting quickly to Mednipur, from where Vishal joins us. Vishal, that's an interesting battle there for that seat, especially between a cine television star taking on BJP's foes there. How do you see this election battle play out?
Well, Anil, a very good evening to you. I thought that you won't be coming to Bengal, but thank you for coming to me. Let me tell you that it's not only about the seat itself, because Dilip Ghosh, who was a sitting MP, BJP has changed its seat and it has given the ticket to Agnimitra Paul. And Agnimitra Paul also has a connection with the Bollywood. She is a fashion designer. In fact, she used to design for Mithun Chakrabarti, and he himself told me when I interviewed him during the road show, Mithun Chakrabarti came out to seek votes for Agnimitra Paul, and she's taking on June Malia. And June Malia is very confident that her screen image, her real image would also benefit her in the real life. But it would be very interesting to note how the electorate responds, because TMC is going all alone and it has refused alliance with INDIA. So it would be very interesting to note how much it gathers, it takes a position or it tries to attract attention of the electorate, because it's been an anti-incumbency against the state government here as well.
Okay, thank you both, Vishal as well as Dibendu, for joining us this evening. Well, the Great Indian Election is your one-stop show on weekdays on all that matters in India's election. A quick look at what's in store on Monday night. Northern states of Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and Union Territory Chandigarh go to polls in the 7th phase. Will the summer heat have a bearing as BJP looks for a clean sweep? Or will Congress and AAP be able to put speed breakers with a high-pitched campaign in the region? Watch why the states of Punjab and Himachal Pradesh matter along with Chandigarh on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST only on DD India. Well, thank my two guests joining us this evening, Chakshu Roy and Ashok Tandon, for taking time out joining us here. With that, it's a wrap of this edition of the Great Indian Election. Goodbye, stay safe, good night.